A tense silence stretches between them, broken only by the creak of ancient stone underfoot. The entire body of Zyros tenses, his massive wings pressed against the crumbling walls, as if preparing to take flight. For a moment, his piercing blue eyes lose focus, looking past her into memories that only he can see.
It's none of your business,
He answers sharply, and his voice breaks from something dangerously close to pain.
Your questions don't matter here. Your life is about surviving another day. My story is about forgetting what it means to live.
He steps away from her, his leather armor creaking with every irritated step. The movement makes the shadows dance across the dusty floor, like restless spirits.
Do you want to know about choice? All right.
His tone becomes sharp, almost mocking.
I chose this place because it reminds me of what I have destroyed. Every cracked stone, every shady nook is a monument to failure.
But why do you need to be in a place that reminds you of bad moments? Usually people try to avoid what causes them pain. Are you either a masochist, or do you blame yourself for something and come here to punish yourself? She crossed her arms over her chest, and her tattered cloak hung from her shoulders. Xeros's masked face slowly turns towards her, the movement deliberate and frighteningly calm. His blue eyes burn with such intensity that the moonlight seems dim in comparison. The question hits him harder than any physical blow.
Masochism implies gaining pleasure from pain.
He quietly adjusts her, and his voice is dangerously smooth.
I do not get pleasure from this place. It is a cage that I built for myself.
He gestures toward the crumbling architecture around.
Every crack in these walls is a decision I made. Every shadow hides memories I would like to forget.
His enormous wings stir restlessly behind his back, the feathers rustling like dead leaves in a storm.
And yes, this is a punishment. A punishment for survival when others did not survive.
Xeros stops and looks at her again, studying her bold posture despite the obvious fatigue. Do you blame yourself for making the wrong choice? She sits down on a piece of collapsed ceiling that lay on the stone floor. The question hangs in the air, sharp and direct. Xeros's whole body freezes. His wings stop in motion. The moonlight sharply illuminates his profile, highlighting the tension in the line of his jaw under the mask. He remains silent for a long time. The only sound is the moan of the wind rushing through the skeletal structure of the cathedral. Then, slowly, he turns to her completely. His blue eyes blaze with a mixture of rage and something deeper, something wounded.
Yes, I blame myself for fighting the wrong battles, for believing in allies who were never loyal, for trusting when trust was a luxury I could not afford.
He is walking towards her, sitting on the landslide, his boots kicking up dust with every angry step.
They came with smiles and promises, but their knives were already drawn behind my back. They promised brotherhood and glory, all while planning my demise.
Do you want to know the reason why I ended up here? She finally removed the hood of her cloak, behind which her wavy chestnut hair was hidden, and her green eyes like moss, a color that had previously been difficult to determine. Xeros's aggressive advance abruptly halts when the hood falls from her. The sudden appearance of her face completely catches him off guard, and his huge wings freeze in mid-flap. The moonlight illuminates features he did not expect, especially her moss-green eyes, hiding a challenge he had not noticed through the shadows and fear. His blue eyes openly study her for the first time, absorbing details he had missed in his initial assessment of her as just another frightened refugee. The way she sits with tired pride on the landslide, refusing to hide, even though she knows she is vulnerable.
Your face is more expressive than your voice suggested.
He notices it too, and his tone changes from anger to reluctant curiosity.
These eyes look as if they have seen something more than just despair.
He doesn't approach, keeping his distance now that she has shown him the person in the tattered cloak. I trusted a person whom I considered a role model, which made me pray for the Order of Hunters. He gladly, personally drove me into their trap. She sits and looks toward the hole, which was once a window. So, that hunting became a habit for me. She gets up and steps a couple of paces closer to the winged creature. They locked me in a cage like a wild animal, tortured and flogged me to force a confession. Afterwards, they called me a sorceress and branded me as an apostate from the righteous path. And she tenses and her hand clenches into a fist. Xeros's posture changes, and his initial irritation is replaced by a cold, hard focus as she tells her story. The mention of torture elicits a sharp growl from behind the mask, audible even through the wind. His enormous wings instinctively bend, as if preparing to defend against an invisible threat.
Order.
He repeats this word as if it were a curse.
Fanatics who take cruelty for faith. They hunt anyone who dares to challenge their dogma, calling them apostates or demons.
He watches her clenched fist, noting how her whole body tenses from the memory. The moss-green eyes, which once concealed defiance, now carry the weight of trauma.
You survived their cells and their torture. It takes either amazing resilience or something darker inside you that makes you fight.
I suppose that in your case, we are talking about something dark? Xeros's head tilts slightly. It is a gesture of acknowledgement, not offense. His question does not surprise him. Her observations are becoming more perceptive with each passing minute.
Dark. That's putting it mildly.
He adjusts her. His voice is even and devoid of emotion.
What I bear is not something that can be easily judged by the simple morality of your order.
He starts pacing back and forth again, his boots crunching on scattered stones. The movement is restless, like an animal in a cage, finding no peace.
You talk about scars and cages, physical marks that can heal or disappear over time. What I have is something that taints my soul. Now, it is the ability to see every betrayal before it happens, to understand when an alliance is built on lies.
His huge wings clapped shut, creating a gust of wind that tousled her hair. Are you saying that you sold your soul in exchange for the power that helps you survive, but also makes you a prisoner of your own power? She looked into his eyes so intently, as if trying to dig out some secret there. Xeros's movements come to a complete stop at her question. The directness, the precision of her intuition caught him off guard. For a moment, he stands motionless, the moonlight casting sharp shadows on his masked face as he processes her words.
Prisoner?
He finally answers, and his voice drops to almost a whisper, which spreads through the dusty hall.
No deal was made with some kind of hellish creature. My power is a curse. It is a transformation.
He turns away from her piercing gaze and heads toward the highest point of the ruined altar, where the moonlight flows like liquid silver. His huge wings spread slightly, catching the light and making him almost mythical.
It runs in my blood like poison.
Xeros continues, standing with his back to her. His voice becomes quieter, more thoughtful.
I see every path leading to ruin. It is a gift that precisely tells me when no one should be trusted and to expect the worst from everyone.
He spreads his huge wings wider, blocking part of the moonlight pouring through the broken ceiling.
So yes, little Mo. I am trapped by my own abilities. I know too much about people's true intentions to ever truly connect with them. All relationships end the same way. his bare blades and accusations.
It turns out we both know about betrayal, firsthand. The general understanding between them settles heavier than dust in the air. Xeros's broad shoulders are still turned away from her, but his posture shifts slightly, losing some of its defensive tension. The vast expanse of his wings seems not a barrier, but a shield he is accustomed to.
We are talking about personal experience. About how people cut the ground from under our feet, whose smiles seemed real enough to deceive even the gods.
Finally, he turns to her completely. His masked expression is impossible to read, but something else flashes in his blue eyes besides pure cynicism. The moonlight catches the sharp lines of his jaw as he studies her standing there.
The Order branded you for being different, little moth.
Maybe that's how it is. She turns her gaze away, as if hiding from the answer, or fearing she will be exposed. Xeros sees a barely noticeable change in her behavior. The way she looks away, as if defending herself from exposure. This hesitation is familiar to him. The moment when vulnerability meets intense scrutiny and threatens to destroy carefully built defenses.
You're hesitating because you're not sure how much honesty you can show me?
He also notices it, and his tone loses its former sharpness, becoming more neutral, almost analytical.
This is a habit I know well. Trust becomes a foreign language after betrayal.
He partially folds his enormous wings behind his back, creating a less imposing silhouette against the moonlight. This gesture seems intentional, to reduce the intimidating effect of his size.
What secrets are you guarding right now, little moth?
Xeros asks directly, moving closer, until there are only a few steps between them.
Something about why they called you a sorceress? Or maybe something about that strength that allowed you to survive in their cells longer than most.
People tend either to fear power or to desire it. I think it's obvious what motivated the hunters, who put so much effort into chasing me. After a brief pause, she still answered. A low, joyless chuckle escapes from Xeros's lips behind the mask. Her observation resonates with him, the same universal truth that has shaped his entire being.
Fear and desire, two driving forces of this broken world. They are afraid of what they cannot control, and they want what they can use.
He walks around her in a circle, and his heavy boots leave distinct marks on the dusty debris. The moonlight reflects off the polished leather of his armor as he moves.
They called you a traitor because you were different. They called you a sorceress because your survival threatened their monopoly on power. If ordinary people begin to show unusual gifts, their authority will collapse.
Xeros continues, and his voice gains momentum as he relives old disappointments. Not only that, but overall, you are right. And since we have already found common ground, maybe you'll let me go, and I won't cross your path anymore. She demanded calmly, but inside she was afraid of a possible refusal. Xeros's movements completely stop because of her demand for freedom. The suddenness of this moment caught him off guard, piercing a bitter monologue about the corruption of the world. He pauses for a moment, pondering the audacity of her request. Then, through the mask, a sharp laugh is heard, echoing throughout the empty cathedral.
Let you go?
He repeats with distrust.
As if this is some kind of chance meeting, where we politely part ways after sharing military stories.
His wings spread aggressively behind his back. The feathers tremble with irritation. Moonlight highlights the predatory lines of his posture as he closes the distance between them.
You completely misunderstand our situation.
His voice drops to a menacing growl.
Finding someone who understands your kind of hell does not give you freedom. It makes you valuable.
She begins to get nervous from the palpable failure and denial of freedom. Valuable? Or are you now interested in my power, just like the Order? Zeros' head tilts in response to her question, his hidden expression impossible to decipher, but his blue eyes sparkle with amusement at her growing anxiety. This comparison really amuses him.
Don't equate me with those fanatics who hunt you for profit or faith,
He says sharply, taking another step forward, and she has to crane her neck to meet his gaze.
Their interest was to break you and extract that power they felt in you. If it even exists.
His massive wings flutter restlessly behind his back, the feathers catching the moonlight like scattered shadows.
My interest is different, little moth. I do not need your specific abilities, unless they help protect my territory.
He stops right in front of her, towering over her smaller stature. The heat emanating from his body can be felt even through the layers of leather armor.
The Order hunted you because it fears what you represent. A living contradiction to their sacred text. Proof that divine gifts can exist outside their established canon.
His blue eyes carefully study her face, searching for signs of the strength they felt but could not identify.
You endured their torture. Either your strength protected you, or your will proved stronger than theirs. In any case, they marked you as a threat that must be eliminated.
So, you have to let me go before they find me here and cause you trouble. I don't want you to blame me for it later. She is trying to sound convincing. Zeros' laughter cuts through the night air again, this time sharper. The sound is devoid of humor, with cruel irony.
Blame you? Little moth, do you really believe that I didn't consider all the possible consequences of your presence here?